As many of you already know, tomorrow is the Feast of Divine Mercy, better known as Divine Mercy Sunday, which was instituted by St. John Paul II on April 30th of the year 2000. However, the origin of this day began in 1931, when a young nun, now named St. Faustina, saw a vision of Jesus with rays of mercy streaming from the area of his heart. Christ told her that to have the image painted and to represent this vision and to sign it, "Jesus, I trust in you." And then in a series of revelations, Christ taught her that his mercy is unlimited and available even to the greatest sinners. And he revealed special ways for people to respond to his mercy. Yet, I think the real question for us all here today is, do we really understand Christ's mercy? So it's been 1 week since Easter, 1 week since the chaos, the excitement, 1 week since the empty tomb. It's been 1 week since the resurrection, and the disciples are still in the same place where they were Easter night. They're in the same room, locked behind the same doors. So if the resurrection was such a big deal, such a life-changing event, why are they still stuck in the same place? What difference has the empty tomb made? Has it changed them? Has it let them see themselves and the world differently? Has it done anything for them at all? It doesn't look like it's made much of a difference. They're in the same house, behind the same locked doors that they were a week ago. What's changed? I wonder, 1 week after Easter, what has Christ's resurrection done for us? Is your life any different? Do you see and take on the world in new and different ways? What difference has the empty tomb made to your life over the past week? When I look at my life, it looks a whole lot like it did last Sunday, the week before, and the week before that. And when I look at the world, it looks pretty much the same as it did before. You know, I used to take and hear today's gospel and be pretty critical of the disciples. They're stuck in the same place. I always think they should be better than that. After all, death has been defeated. Christ is risen. Alleluia. Why aren't their lives any different? I really guess I'm asking about my own life. Why isn't my life different after Easter? Why am I stuck in the same place? I should be doing better than this. I should be living the resurrection better, more powerfully, more fully, more authentically than what I am. After all, the Lord is risen indeed. Alleluia. I begin, however, to hear today's gospel differently than what I used to. And here's what I think today's gospel is telling us. Christ's resurrection is a big deal. The empty tomb is a life-changing event. The resurrection does make a difference in our lives, and it also takes time. Resurrection takes time. It's not a one-time event. It's something that we grow into. It's a process. It's a way of being and a life to be lived. By the grace of God, we evolve into resurrected people through our relationships and the circumstances in our lives. God wastes nothing. Every day we're stepping into the resurrected life. It's not always easy, and some days are just plain hard. I wonder if we sometimes come to Easter Sunday and to the empty tomb expecting to wake up on Monday to a whole new life and a new world. I'm guessing that you woke up on Easter Monday to the same life and world that you had on Good Friday. I know that I did. It's not because the resurrection failed or because that Jesus didn't do the Jesus thing. It's because the Jesus thing takes time. Maybe we need to let go of the fact of the empty tomb and start claiming the story of resurrection. You know, there's a difference between facts and stories. Facts are one-dimensional. Stories are multi-dimensional. Facts inform the mind. Stories touch your heart. Facts transmit information. Stories transform lives. Think about it like this. A fact is static, like a picture of a particular moment in time. That picture won't change. But a story is dynamic, like a movie that takes us across time. The empty tomb is a fact. Resurrection is a story. Maybe we need to begin to understand resurrection as the movie of our life instead of a snapshot or a picture of Christ's life. The fact of the empty tomb is not the story of the resurrection. The facts of Jesus' life are not the story of Jesus. The facts of your life and my life are not the story of our lives either. The facts are just the starting point for the story. The fact of the empty tomb is a starting point for the resurrection story. Whatever facts you woke up to on Easter Monday are simply the starting point for your story of the resurrection. Though much too often we take the facts of the entire story, don't we? Isn't that what we've done with St. Thomas? What facts come to mind when you hear his name? He was a doubter. Unless I see the marks of the nails in his hands and put my fingers into the marks of the nails in my hand into his side, I will not believe. That Thomas doubted might be the only fact that comes to mind. It's so dominant that we've called him the Doubting Thomas. What if that fact is just a starting point for his resurrection? What if that's not the whole story? What if where we start is less important than where we go and where we end? Do you know the end of Thomas' story? Do you know where he died? He died in India. He was the apostle to the people of India. He brought the gospel of Christ to India. He died a martyr after he was run through with 5 spears from 5 soldiers. To me, that doesn't sound much like a doubter, does it? It sounds like someone who grew, someone who changed, someone for whom the resurrection of Christ was real, someone for whom the empty tomb made a difference. It just took time, as it does for most, if not all of us. We know Doubting Thomas, but let's not forget Confessing Thomas. He's in today's gospel as well, my Lord and my God. With those words, Thomas has recognized and named a new relationship, a new worldview, a new way of being. Somewhere between the Doubting Thomas and Confessing Thomas is the story of resurrection in Thomas's life. All that stuff about Doubting Thomas, the fact of his disbelief, is just that starting point, nothing more, nothing less. It's neither good nor bad. It's a starting place, and we all have our starting place. So what's your starting place? What are the facts of your life today? The starting place for the story of our resurrection is wherever we are. Whatever your life is today, whatever your circumstances are, that's the starting point for your story of the resurrection. So if you're dealing with deep loneliness, sorrow, loss, that's your starting point. That's the room that Christ enters. If you're locked in a house of fear, confusion, or darkness, that's your starting point, the place in which Jesus will stand. If illness, old age, disability, or uncertainty are facts of your life, that's the starting point. That's the place in which Jesus shows up. If you're feeling lost, betrayed, disappointed, overwhelmed, that's your starting point and the house that Jesus enters. If joy, gratitude, and celebration are the facts of your life today, that's the starting point of your story of the resurrection. All these things I've just described and thousands others are many ways the doors of our houses get locked. Whatever it might be for you, it's just a starting point. You know, the great tragedy is not that the disciples are in the same house behind the same locked doors. It's just their starting place. The great tragedy would be if the disciples refused to unlock the doors, refused to open the doors, and refused to get out of the house. What are the doors that are locked in our lives? What are the things that keep us stuck in the same place? I'll say it again, it's just the starting point. Don't judge it to be good or bad, right or wrong. It's just where you are, and it's the place where Christ shows up. It happened twice in today's gospel. Both times the disciples are in the same house behind the same locked doors, and Jesus shows up. He stands in the midst of them. The walls and the doors are locked. And even that couldn't keep Jesus out of the house. And the walls are locked, and the doors are locked, and that will not keep him out of your house either. He steps in the midst of our house through locked doors and breathes peace and life into us. He breathes peace and hope into us. He breathes peace and courage into us. He breathes peace and strength into us. And that breath of peace is the key that unlocks the door. So take a deep breath. Take it all in. Let it fill and invigorate you. Let it give you hope and courage and strength to unlock and open the doors to your life. And then get out of the house. Let us all open the doors to the story of our resurrection. And then let's get out of the house.